Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the morning drive for those of us that are doing the 9 to 5, or in my case, 7 to 3. Glad you could make it this morning. We're going to go ahead and cruise by McDonald's, get that morning caffeine. But I wanted to say thanks to everybody that was on last night. Last night's stream went really well. I had a great time, and it was the quickest 2 hours I've ever spent. I was only going to do maybe a half hour or an hour, because those of you that have been watching, you know I'm a new streamer, and I'm just trying to build up that, the base of followers and everything. And but yeah, we had some great people in last night, and had a lot of fun, just kind of talking about whatever we wanted to talk about. Pizza, that was the one thing that kind of went over. Man, I tell you, I went to bed so hungry last night, craving pizza. I literally just wanted to go to the Pizza Hut and just get something, or go to Little Caesars and grab something to eat. But I fought it off, fought the urge, and just went to bed. But I probably got to bed around 1:30 this morning. It was actually no different than any other night. I usually stay up way later than I should, but I can't. I get up, I feel refreshed, I feel good in the mornings. I do about 3 hours. Sometimes I get 4 hours sleep. It just depends. And that, I think, was just a thing from the military. I was in for so many years, you just get accustomed to less sleep. And then as you get older, it's tougher just to go and you just lay there for 8 hours and do nothing. It's kind of grueling to actually just lay there and do nothing. But anyway, guys, I did want to say thanks to everybody. And there's a few of you guys I tried to follow. I tried to find you on Mixer, because I saw that was where a lot of the folks from last night were from. And I was trying to find your channel so I could take a look at them and follow and just kind of return the courtesy. And I could not find your channel, so hopefully if you're on tonight, you can direct me to where I'm going, because I definitely would like to check out what you guys put together as well. I was not happy. We talked a little bit about, for those of you that were just getting into streaming or have been doing it, we talked a little bit about Streamlabs and the different software platforms. I am not a happy camper with Stream Elements, so I don't know, I might be changing things up a little bit. Hang on, guys, just a sec.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order?
Good morning. Could I have a large Diet Coke?
Anything else, sweetie?
Nope, that'll do it. Thank you.
107, second window.
Get that caffeine going. A little bit of a line today. Anyway, so yeah, it was a lot of fun last night, and I appreciate you guys dropping by and following or subscribing to me, depending on what software, what platform you're on. But now, I have no idea if Mallory's working today, so before I get the emails about Mallory, you guys kind of were hung up on this, the lady from McDonald's here. I've gotten 3 or 4 emails asking me if she was married, and she actually, you saw her last week, she's waving, and she's single, but guys, like she said, she's into the ladies, so don't even bother. But it didn't sound like her up here, it sounded like someone else, so she may not be working today anyway. But yeah, it was kind of weird last night. I had actually went on expecting to just, like I said, do another half hour, and then all of a sudden everyone started popping in, and it was actually great, because you just don't know what to expect, and you don't know, really, for me anyway, I don't know what to expect from day to day, because I don't want that channel that I had one guy get on and says, are you about politics? And it's like, well, yeah, we'll talk about politics. We'll talk about anything, but I'm seriously thinking about changing the name, or at the very least, the little logo I designed up there, changing that, because I just don't want to be pigeonholed into just one thing. I mean, I had a ball last night talking about whatever we talked about. I mean, it was... We kind of free-flowed from one to the other, one idea to the other. Good morning.
that card. That is cute.
You like that? That's my
Yes,
Disney.
sir.
That's my Disney card. So.
That is very cute.
Yep, she likes my cards. Huh? Morning. Hey everyone, Mallory's here.
How y'all doing? Got my
She just-
name tag on
Yep,
today.
she thought she'd drop by and say hi. They ask about you all the time. They email, is she working today? I'm like, I don't know her schedule.
I'm
like,
only off on Monday.
see, 1 day a week. She's only 1 day?
Yes.
Crazy. Works
Take a
6.
vacation here soon.
Are you really? You're
Yeah,
you're
I need
entitled.
to. I'm tired.
You're entitled 6 days a week. I think
Right.
that's definitely
Definitely. I don't get paid for it, but
yeah. Oh well, hey, you know what? It's still a vacation.
I'll just work really good for like a good week and then take off for a week.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. I mean, put the time in.
Yeah, I hear that. Would you have a Diet Coke?
Oh yeah, I got Diet Coke.
That's it?
Yep, that's it. Thanks, guys.
All right, you have a great day.
All right, you guys have fun. All right, guys. Mallory was working. Okay. She's funny. She was when I first started back in January. When I first started streaming, and I had it was like my first couple days, and this is just my regular routine. I swing by McDonald's in the morning to grab a little caffeine. I don't do the breakfast. You know, I used to do the sausage muffin and then just get the sausage and eat it, but I don't even do that. As I said last night, this diet I'm on, I'm so sick of eating. I mean, I don't want to eat anymore, but you have to, you know, and you got to keep eating, and then you just keep losing the weight. It's really kind of weird, but I was stopping by McDonald's in the morning to get some breakfast, and then she looked in one day and she says, oh, and she looked and she asked me, she says, is that a GPS or is that your dash cam? And I said, no. I says, I'm doing a live stream. And ever since then, she likes to come out and say hi and wave to everybody. And I was getting emails of guys are going, hey, man, is she single? What's her deal? You know, what's her name? So, you know, I asked her name one day. She's Mallory. And I told her, I says, oh, the guys want to know if you're single. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm single and I'm looking and this and that. She goes, and I love the ladies. And I went, okay, then. All right. You know. So I kind of just chuckled about that because I probably got 6 or 7 emails about her from all guys, you know. But it was funny. So anyway, what was I gonna say? I had a couple people that were helping me last night do the donation button or whatever. I guess it wasn't working, and so I think I spent a good hour on last night going around to the different platforms, making sure the links worked, and trying to update those. I think I got it working on Mixer. I think it'll actually send it now to the Stream Elements. But I'm working on the fact that I might switch from that Stream Elements back to Stream Labs. And I don't know, it's, police or something going on. I don't know what's going on. But it was definitely something that it was worth. I don't know if you can see in the background, you'll see the, you actually can't see the police. But anyway, so hopefully today goes by quick. It's Tuesday for me. Hopefully it's Tuesday morning or Tuesday evening for you guys as well. I'm just hoping, I kind of hope it goes by quick. I am looking forward to I'll do the afternoon drive as well today, and I'll also do the evening. I'm trying to do the schedule, guys. I'm trying to keep to it. That way, at least, you know, if you're kicking around in the morning at 6:15, you know I'll be here to BS. And I wish I had the chat I was looking at Alexa. Somebody was telling me you can actually, if somebody sends texts, you can have those texts read back to you during your drive or whatever, so you're not trying to look at a screen, trying to read a screen. But I would love to have some way to chat or engage while I'm actually on my way to work. But right now, it's it's not going to happen because I don't have any way of conversing with you guys while I drive. And I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure I can get I can bring in my tablet, maybe put the tablet there and at least get some feedback. If I can have it read to me the emails. That'd be great. But I just got to figure out a way to do it. And there's so many different softwares out there, so many different utilities that will allow you to do stuff like that. I just got to figure out the one that's going to work best, and then go from there. Oh man! And there was one guy on last night who was a network guy. He was so he did servers and networks. He was an IT geek as well. So that was another thing. I was kind of like, every now and then when people start dropping in, I've had folks that were, a lot of students, a lot of people in school. And last night the guy was IT. He was into computers, which was feel sorry for that guy. Somebody was pulled over on the side of the road, just puking his guts out. But he was in IT, and I like that when every now and then I'll get to people that are in a field that I enjoy. And I've been very blessed to be in a lot of different fields. I've been an executive producer in radio in Detroit. I used to do voices. I do a lot of character voices. I probably do about 80 different character voices or accents. So I did a lot of stuff for a morning show. We had a lot of fun with character development and for their show. So I've been very, very lucky to be able to kind of do things that I enjoy. Right now, the job I actually have, I've given them. I told them I'd give them 3 years to do it, and they had a program that was really, for almost a year, was almost non-existent. And I decided I basically left one place to come over here and help them redo this program, their computer program. It teaches inmates, Office 2016. It teaches them Server 2016, their A+ certification, their N+ certification from CompTIA. It also teaches them their Microsoft certification for the Microsoft suite of products. So, I've put together a really good program for them. And for about 3 years now, we've been making sure that I've never had anybody in my class that hasn't graduated with at least 80%. These guys, once they get in the groove, they actually start understanding it. They excel very quickly throughout the program, which is great. And I've been very, very fortunate. Like I said, being in computers, I don't know if you guys, now I'm going to age myself here. I'm going to give you an idea of how old I am. When I first got in computers, we had punch cards. We had these punch cards we would feed into the computer at high school. And this is back when there was basic programming, COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, just different programming languages compared to today, where you've got Python, Ruby on Rails, you've got a ton, Visual Studios. So a lot of much different software platform back then, programming languages, I should say. Much different programming languages. But when I got into it, there was no internet, okay? But we did have these cool things called BBSs. They stood for bulletin board systems, right? It was basically, if you had a modem on your computer, you could call, one computer could call another computer and share files, share things that were on that computer back and forth. Well, that's kind of where I started. So there was no internet. We were just calling. There was a little group of us, the computer geeks that had computers. We had modems, and then we added 2 modems, then 3, then 4 modems, so where 4 people could be on your system at the same time, and you'd have 4 phone lines. Well, let me tell you how I grew to where I had these. I was using a computer software program called Major. It was called Major BBS, and it was by a company called Galacticom, and they had these chassis you could populate with modems, and you could stack and daisy chain these chassis together to get more than just 4 modems. So I got up to 256 phone lines. I had 256 lines coming in. I had AT&T come and put in 100 pair of lines at my house, and so I'm running all these phone lines, and I've got hundreds and hundreds of people just logging on and we had thousands of members, but you can only I could do 256 lines at a time, and that would be on the system and actually being able to use it. Now the system, I will admit, it was over 18. You know, you had to be over 18 to be on the system. It was an adult BBS, so I had a bunch of actual CD jukeboxes, and I had a lot of adult content in there. And the cool thing about it was all cash. I mean, even though we could take, like, it was a membership based, and even though we could take credit card, they would never send credit card. They would just send a $100 bill, a $50 bill, $20, $10 for the month, depending on what level access you had. So that's kind of how I got into computers even more. The larger we became and the more users we had and the more members were joining, you have to expand it and add new things, and it was a lot of fun. And then I actually sold it and got rid of it at the perfect time. It was where I had another competitor that was going head to head with me, and but they weren't an adult board; they were more of a mainstream general BBS, and they bought me out and acquired all of my people and put them into theirs, and I'm sure it worked out for them. But in the end, it was just a lot of fun. That was actually kind of how I got my taste for business. I mean, we made, back at that time, there was a publication. It was called Board Watch Magazine, and we'd made like the cover of Board Watch Magazine, the middle page spread in the actual magazine itself. It was really a great time to be in technology. Then the internet came, and the internet was kind of funny because when it first came about, everybody, and I mean everybody that I knew, was telling you how it was going to just change the landscape of businesses all over the world, and these little mom and pop businesses were now going to be able to be global businesses, and they would paint this big picture of how the internet was going to really revolutionize every little small and medium business out there, and of course that's not what happened. People that are on the internet even today, we can't, there's so much content out there. There's so many different channels. There's, you can be a member of Amazon Prime, or you can be a member of Stars, and you can have there's so many subscriptions out there that no one person could ever be a member of all these different, because that was the only way they were thinking about monetizing, is by selling memberships. Well, we have to sell memberships to to get them on. And you guys know the rest. When that failed, they finally says, well, we can fund the internet and all these websites and everything by using advertising. So, you drive down the road today, you see billboards, and like there's a billboard here, billboard there. You see these billboards, and then all of a sudden you look online and you figure, okay, I am advertising. They say online, on average, you're exposed to about 7,000 advertisements and bits of marketing information for every 6 hours that you spend on there. You're getting about 7,000 or more actual images. What the hell is this guy doing? I'm trying to... the traffic today is... Something's going on, so it's like really kind of backed up today. But anyway, so that kind of... That's how they've started funding or monetizing all these different websites. That's why Facebook is free. Facebook isn't free because they're, some kind of generosity of any kind involved. Facebook is free because you've got ads in your face. Think about when you're online. You've got banner ads, you've got pop-up ads, you've got display ads, you've got scrolling ads, you've got ads at you can't even look at a screen without having clickbait where it'll say something sensational, you click on it, it's something totally different. If you send an email, let's say you have Gmail or whatever, you send an email, guess what goes out with your email? Ads, advertising. When you're sitting there in your inbox and you're coming in, guess what's coming in? That's the entire internet. It's nothing more than advertising and marketing for a small bit of content, or you get some enjoyment from the different sites that you're on, but that's how it's funded. So because everybody realized I can't charge $20 a month for my site because there's 50 sites just like mine, and they'll flip-flop between one site or the other because they're not going to be members to all of them. So it's kind of it's been really neat to be able to sit back and see the evolution of what it's become over time. And yeah, I'm a firm believer. I mean, I just started, even though I work, for those of you that have been watching the channel, you know I'm an entrepreneur by nature. You know that I've got almost a dozen global patents for technology. This is what I love to do. I've always enjoyed business technology innovation. So one of the cool things about, I just started a little while back a software development company called Foodaddle, F-O-O-D-A-D-D-L-E, Foodaddle.com, and I've started developing a platform on that that I think is going to be, I think it's going to be really a lot of fun. Now I know Facebook is going to hate it, Google, they're going to hate it. There's a lot of companies, Amazon, they're going to hate the way I've got this thing, you know, the concept going. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to please them. You know, a lot of people said, "Oh, you're trying to compete with Facebook. You're trying to compete." No, not at all. I'm not trying to compete with anybody. As a matter of fact, what's more likely to happen is when they see the platform and when it starts to grow and I start to hit critical mass, they're just going to buy me out because, unlike, I don't know if you guys have been on the net long enough to where you've been exposed to this company called Groupon. Groupon was actually, this company was offered $5 billion with a B, you know, $5.6 billion when they were a brand new company, you know, just starting, and they turned down Google because they wanted to do an IPO, an initial public offering, and they did. They went and did a public offering, and it hit at like $20-something a share. Today it's sitting at around $1 or $2. I mean, shares have just went through the roof because the business model they used was terrible. I mean, this business model that they used and Google wanted to buy, it was the worst business model I've ever seen, but because they had enough members, and that's what it's all about. They don't buy your idea, your concept, they just buy your user base. It's all about the data. How many members do you have? How many people? That's kind of what they were buying. But yeah, the whole little thing with Groupon, and at the time I actually owned restaurants. I had Whiskey River Barbecue and Brew, and I owned restaurants at the time, and they kept coming and wanting me to advertise and use this Groupon, and I really wasn't interested. And then finally the manager of one of my restaurants said, "Look, sit down and talk with this guy. He's here every day. Every single day this guy comes in from Groupon and he's trying to, you know, he wants you to use their service and that." And I said, "Oh, fine, I'll give him 10 minutes. So I sit down with this guy and I say, "Go ahead, tell me what you got and how it works." And this was a sales pitch, the guy, swear to God, I couldn't make this up if I wanted. The sales pitch was this. The guy looks at me and says, "Okay." He goes, "You're a barbecue restaurant. What is your #1 best-selling meal on your menu?" And I said, "It's the baby back ribs all day long, $19.95. I can sell them all day long, no problem." He says, "Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take 1,000 meals of your baby back ribs, and we're going to put them on the Groupon website for $10. What? He says, "Yeah, we're gonna take these Groupon coupons and we're gonna put them on our website for $10, and people are gonna come and they're gonna buy them, and then we're gonna send you $5, and when they come in, they'll give you the Groupon and you reimburse them, you know, or you give them the meal." And I'm going, "Wait a minute!" And I was so lost. I'm going, so your sales pitch is to me: take a $20 meal, cut the price in half, and then cut it in half again, and only take $5 for this meal. And they're like, yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm like, okay. So I was thinking, this is not a good thing for me. You know, I'm going, So this person is coming on. So then I said, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so what they're really doing is they're buying a Groupon, which means they come in, they give it to me, and they're only going to pay me $10 where they would normally pay me $20. So I'd actually be getting $10. And they're like, no. And I was like, what? And they're like, no, they're already paying $10. They're paying $10 for the meal. And they're going to bring you the Groupon that says $10, and you're going to give them the meal and take the Groupon in exchange. I says, this is a terrible business model. How are you going to say, oh no, people love it, it's going to fill your restaurant? I'm like, yeah, with freeloaders, people looking to get, $20 meals for $10. And I says, and I'm only going to get $5. And it was just, it was unbelievable. And he says, well, your neighbors, your friend next door in his restaurant, I had a buddy of mine owned a restaurant across the parking lot, and he's going to do it. I said, fine. I said, well, let's let him do it, and then I'll talk to him afterwards, and if it worked out for him, I'll go ahead and do it. And he was packed, and I will tell you, the whole next month, he was packed. He had a lot of people in, which actually ran off onto my restaurant too, so even though he was busy, I got a lot of the residual traffic as well. But anyway, after that month, I went over and I says, hey, man, I see you were busy, so did that Groupon thing work out? And he says, worst thing I've ever done, I'll never do it again, almost put me into bankruptcy. And he went on to tell me what a racket it was. And I said, okay, so they've got to reach, they're going to get you once. If you're a business owner on any level, and they started with primarily just food, and local establishment, but they've kind of branched out into jewelry and travel and all these other areas, but it was primarily food in the beginning. But it was the worst business model. They were bought out, Google offered them $5 billion. So now the Foodaddle.com that I'm developing, much better business model. When you're developing something like a Groupon, it has to be a win-win-win for everybody. The consumer has to win. The business that you're using has to win. So if you go to a restaurant, it has to be a win for them, a win for the customer, a win for the advertiser, a win for your company. Everybody has to win. And it took a while, and the model I use is not anything like what's out there now. I've looked at the things that are out there and spent a lot of time researching it, and the way I'm setting it up is way, way different than anything that's out there. It's just, I've looked at everything, and so I kind of know I'm not there to compete against Amazon or Facebook or Google. I'm kind of there just to hopefully be bought out over time. But it was fun. I had a couple. I threw it up on EquityNet. EquityNet.com is where you can raise funding for it. Now I registered with the Security Exchange. I've done a Reg D, so we're looking to do an IPO in the future. But it was funny because I put it on EquityNet, and I got a group of investors from California that just before the hurricane, we were talking, and they were really sold on, they were going to fund it. They were going to $2 million they were willing to put up, and we had great discussions. Then the hurricane hit, and now they've reached out to me several times, and they're like, look, we still want to do business with you. We still want to make this thing fly. We really believe in your model, but you're going to have to move out to California, or at the very least out to Arizona. And I kind of went, well, I definitely want to go back out there, but I really, truly, I don't want to make a move until I actually have a platform that's functioning the way I want. So it's been fun. I love, like I said, if you're an entrepreneur or a business guy, it's always been fun for me to do my own thing. I love what we're doing, and don't get me wrong, doing the grind that I do every morning. I don't do this because I have to do this. I do this because it really is. It's really one of the only ways I know that I can make a decent impact in someone's life where hopefully these guys, they leave the prison that they're in right now, and they use some of what they're being taught to make a difference in their own communities, to their own families. So I do enjoy. There's a part of me that would love to just continue and go out and do other things, but there is a part of me that keeps me here. I've met really great people that really love their jobs, and it's tough. I mean, you have those. I'm sure everybody has them. I don't care what your job is, unless you are just so much in love with it, you don't ever think about walking away. I have the days where I roll out of bed. I mean, how many times do you roll out of bed in the morning and just open your eyes and go, oh, God, no, I can't, And that's how it is for me sometimes. I roll out of bed and I just want to roll back over and curl up and just get a few more hours sleep. But, you get up and you go do what you got to do. And I'm very lucky to do something I love to do. And make a difference. And plus, of course, as you're building something, that's another thing. They always tell you, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I wouldn't leave here to go do my thing full-time. Now, if I took the investors' money and put myself on a salary, and then I would go do it full-time. But otherwise, this affords me all the luxuries in life, like food, shelter, clothing. So, doing what I do today, even though it's a grind in the mornings and that, it definitely, for me, it works. It's not my ideal job, not something it's stressful. Not for me, usually for the officers, but it is fun. But there's, like I said, if you're an entrepreneurial person, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's building things. It's not what you do, it's because business, what I found out early on, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they find this out, business is not hard. I mean, honest to God, it doesn't matter if you know the basics of business and kind of the secrets of how to do a business. It's not hard at all. It doesn't matter. I mean, I've had so many businesses, and I've owned restaurants, business centers. I've actually had card clubs. I've had a computer company with stores all over Michigan. Matter of fact, I'll tell you one of the funnest things I've ever done. This is just, for those of you that were on last night, I'm a poker player. I love No Limit Hold'em. I like to go out and play in tournaments. And I got tired of driving from Arizona to Vegas. And then I also got tired, in Arizona, you can go play poker, but they're all in Indian casinos, which still was a significant drive for me to go and go to these Indian casinos. So I finally said, you know what? I don't want to make the drive. So if you get a chance, and you'll get a big kick out of this, this tells you, from a entrepreneurial standpoint of where I'm at, go to YouTube and just go, and all I want you to do is Google, just do a search on YouTube for Paradise Cove Social Club, Paradise Cove COVE Social Club, and see what comes up. That was the club I started because I literally got tired of driving to go play in poker games, and we had a great social club that I had started. And once you are in business and you've done it a couple times, everything is simple. You can start a business overnight. You know exactly what has to be done, how it has to be done. You know the resources that are available out there for you. You know how to utilize those resources. So I actually thought about doing a business channel. I was really, as I went through all the different channels, I was thinking maybe I'll just do a channel for entrepreneurs and people that want to be in business and people that want to start their own business or that have an idea, because I've got all these patents. And I was like, we can take the ideas. So I had an idea at first about doing a channel. It was all about business, technology, and innovation. And then I kind of went, those are just topics that might just come up during a general conversation, So once again, I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into one, single topic. So, and last night was great. You know, last night we hit on a whole bunch of different topics, just BSing, and it actually was a lot of fun. So I do appreciate you guys once again for coming by last night. And if you're stuck with me today during the morning drive, you kind of see this is just really, because I don't have any way of interacting with you yet, this is kind of just like a thinking out loud type thing. I get a chance to kind of go through some of the stuff that I'm, going to go through at work, or just think out loud about things that I want to change or whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at. But over the next couple weeks, then I will try and figure out a way that we can actually communicate during the drive. Because I'm gonna tell you what, it makes the drive go so much quicker if you have. It's just like when you have a passenger with you. You ever notice that when you're driving with someone and you guys are conversing, having conversation, wherever you're going, you get there. It seems you get there much quicker when you're engaged with someone in conversation. But when you're driving by yourself and you're sitting behind the wheel, you kind of get a little bit of, you kind of zone out of everything, and you're focusing on the road. It'll take forever to get wherever you're going. And I mean, that's one of those things where, you've got to try and make use of your time effectively. But I find that if I can actually be in the car and having some kind of a conversation, either audible or just where I can glance at a very large screen with very large words on it. You hate to take your eyes off the road, because that's how people get in accidents. That's why I only look at the camera every now and then. I'll kind of glance over when there's nobody in front of me. But I definitely don't want to be. I don't want to be one of those stories in the nightly news that starts out. You've all seen tragedy struck today when this happened, and I don't want to be one of those guys. I would rather be the one that's success for this blue chip company today. That would be much better. But anyway, there's a lot. I was going to say, if you look out my windows, you're going to see a lot of the devastation still from that hurricane. I mean, the trees are still ripped apart. A lot of the damage is still out there. It's going to take probably a good year or more before everything starts to come, starts to be back to normal, I guess. So the other day I was driving and I flipped my camera, and you could see we had just this area here was hit with 5 tornadoes that just whipped around this place when the hurricane was going. And these tornadoes ripped up trees, ripped up houses, and tore apart industrial complexes. And even the facility I work at was totally, literally, we had to evacuate. After a couple days after the storm was over, we had to evacuate all the inmates, get them out of the facility to other prisons in surrounding areas. So this is what I was talking about. I'm already at work. This is how quick it goes when you're kind of thinking out loud and talking. So I'll probably end up losing you, or my signal's going to go bad right around this Coke building. It always happens there. And then I'll swing in once I get parked. I'll go ahead and say goodbye. But do me a favor, guys. If you happen to come across the channel, and if you were with me last night, and if you kind of like the fact that we can just BS and talk about anything and have some fun, do me a favor and follow me. Go on to Twitch or Mixer or wherever, whatever platform you're on, and just do a follow or subscribe. I really appreciate that. I'm as a new streamer, it helps me out tremendously, because I start building those folks that follow and like to engage in conversation, which is really why most people do this. They want to, even though eventually somebody will de-virginize me, I know that. I will become I will get my first tips or my first bits from Twitch, whatever. Hasn't happened yet because, to be honest with you, I'm just still getting everything configured. But eventually I'll be de-virginized, and I'll see what it's like to actually have the platform work the way it's supposed to. But I do enjoy the just doing the stream. I mean, I didn't know how much I'd like it because it's tough to talk when you don't know if anybody's out there. But man, when you guys jump into the chat, we start chatting about whatever. That's fun. That was actually, it was pretty cool to to see that we all have a lot in common out there. So I'll lose you in about 2 seconds here because I'm right by this. And this long strip is very choppy with signal. All right, guys. Well, I'm here. You can see all the officers are going into work. You probably see them behind me as I start to pass. But wanted to say thanks for staying with me during the morning drive if you were able to do so. And hopefully I'll see you tonight. I'll be doing the stream again, 7 o'clock. And I'll also be I'll do the afternoon drive. I usually get off about 3:15, 3:30, and I'll start the stream on my way home. And I'll kind of go through the news today and see what's new. Have something to talk about on the way home. But once again, man, I thank you guys for last night. Probably the most fun I've had doing that stream since I started. And it was just good to have folks on there that, I appreciate you guys and everything. So I'm going to pull in here. I'm going to let you go and have your great Tuesday or Tuesday night as well. So have a great Tuesday morning or a Tuesday evening, whatever the case may be. And I'll